Being a leader is not easy. Behind the scenes of leadership comes with accountability and making those hard, tough decisions, especially in the moment, like when you're being triggered. It's not easy to be the bigger person and to sit back and actually think before you react. Actually think about the people that are looking up to you, the people that are counting on you. You know, your children, your grandchildren, your students, your followers, your subscribers. There's somebody looking up to you. And I just want to applaud all the leaders out there because it takes a lot of courage and discipline to be a leader, to walk in leadership, for one thing. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. So today I was challenged on so many levels. I had a very important meeting with my mentor, and before that meeting, everything and anything that could have stopped me from being in that meeting on time, being present in that meeting, being focused on the task at hand, it just came at me like ambushing. It's like when you're trying to do something positive, negativity likes to rear its ugly head. But you gotta smack that in the face and you have to take the higher road. It's not easy, but it's doable, especially when you think about where you're headed, where you're going, what your goals are, what you want to accomplish. Like, you came too far to just abandon ship because you angry, because you're pissed off, because something happened and you didn't like the outcome. You gotta thug it out as a leader. And I come from an era where like being a spiritual gangster was where it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had the mentality like, don't start none, won't be none. You know what I'm saying? But as I got older, I learned to fight more in the spirit and less in the flesh. And so as I sit back and I ponder on today and the events that happened, the Lord gave me this scripture in Proverbs 15, chapter 1. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1, excuse me. And I'm reading from today's English version. I like that version a lot. It kind of just breaks it down like how we just regularly talk. And it says, a gentle answer quiets anger, but a harsh one stirs it up. And so it's easy, like when something pops off, to get in your flesh and, pop your neck and start cussing and this and that, and you ain't gonna do this or that or whatever. But if you just pause and take a breath in that moment and realize that whatever action you take, there's going to be some type of reaction, some type of recourse that can have a negative effect or a positive effect depending on how you handle it. And I'm not saying that it's easy. And I'm talking really today to encourage you and to encourage myself. And as a leader, we know that when we do encourage and lift other people up, we're in turn encouraging and lifting ourselves up. Because let's face it, this life, it's not easy. And life be lifing. But you have too much going for yourself to allow negativity, wickedness, other people's actions to bring you down. Like, always try to look at the bigger picture. Like, if I say this, if I do this, what could happen? And I'm preaching to myself. Like, this sermon, it's dedicated to me, baby. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm spicy. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that God made me that way because he wants me to be bold. He wants us as leaders to be courageous. He wants us to stand up for ourselves. He wants us to stand up for what's right. He wants us to be a soldier. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like really what you do, but how you do it, if that makes sense. And so, as a woman, it could be even harder in leadership because as women, we're emotional. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes we can impulsively react in our flesh. But I've come up with the conclusion that our emotions can be our worst enemy. If you think about it, those times when you were led by your emotion, a negative result always followed. You know what I'm saying? You ended up doing something, saying something that you regretted, you embarrassed yourself, you know what I mean? But when you just sit back and reflect, you think, wow, I really could have handled that better. So don't allow your emotions to dictate your decisions. Like, really fall back and think, like, should I say that? Should I do that? If I say that or do that, will I be sabotaging this friendship, this relationship, how I navigate in life? Will I be sabotaging the bond that I have with this person that's important to me, or the bond that I have with this person that's important to a loved one? You know what I'm saying? Because in one instant, in 1 minute, you can make a vital mistake that will negatively impact your life, the lives of those that are looking up to you. You know what I'm saying? And there's a quote that says, too much is given, much is required. And it's like, you got to play your position and you have to use wisdom because God chose you for a reason. He hand selected you for such a time as this, you know, and he has equipped you heavily to walk into this glorious position that he has, and greater is coming. You know, the best is truly yet to come. It definitely gets greater later, but as we elevate, as we begin to shift and walk into new doors that God has, we have to execute sound wisdom, judgment, you know. And I just want to encourage you, and I want to encourage me to say, let me woosah, let me take a breath, because when you have a strong calling on your life, when you have a purpose that will impact nations, you're gonna have setbacks. You're gonna be tested. You know, God does have a door for you. You're going to walk into rooms that will land you global opportunities, but that door is gonna be crowded before you walk in it with negativity, with naysayers, people trying to bring you down, people trying to tempt you and say, "Oh, look at him, look at her. She's that same person she was before. She ain't changed. She ain't nobody. That's just my little sister. She ain't, whatever, what's she doing? That's just my little cousin, or you know, that's just old girl from around the way. She not gonna amount to nothing." But I just speak over your life and say that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Every tongue risen up against you in judgment shall be condemned. And you will walk into that leadership position that God has called you to with excellence. You got this. So just think and just remember, a soft answer turns away wrath.